When Newton saw that apple drop, well, not that one, it led him to thinking there must be a force acting upon the apple, or it would just stay in midair. This led Newton to the discovery of the law of universal gravitation, which states all particles of matter are attracted to all others. The standard telescope at Newton's time was the refracting telescope. This was not ideal. It utilizes glass lenses to focus the lights coming in at different distances, which would leave something called a color aberration, also known as a color fringe, leaving unwanted lines on whatever it was focused at. Newton discovered that if you use mirrors instead of lenses, you would get rid of the color fringe and multiply it by 40 times. Well, I know to thank the next time I fail a calculus test. You guessed it, Newton also invented calculus. He discovered it while he was staring up at the sun. The only thing I see when I stare at the sun is sunspots. The properties such as direction and speed were continuous rates and constantly changing. So he needed to invent a new kind of math to calculate these new changes. Pretty much the man just wanted to do more math. As if Newton was not already smart and accomplished enough, he also practiced alchemy in his spare time, having the simple goals of turning any base metal into gold, finding the cure for universal diseases, and eternal life. So just your garden variety goals. In his shed, he spent hours poring over ancient texts and performing many experiments to complete these goals. Sadly, all he did was greatly further the chemical field with practices that we still use today.
Obviously, this had to be mentioned, so here are Newton's 3 laws. Now, why should you care, you might ask? Well, to start off, you can kiss your phone, your computers, your TVs, and your iPads goodbye, because without optics, these would have never been invented. Optics are what allow our phones and devices to display and detect light. One small step for man, one big step for mankind would have just been a figment of our imagination. So, no Chris Hadfield jumping around on the moon, showing us what it's like to brush our teeth in space. On an actual good note, calculus would have never been invented, so grade tools everywhere would actually be happy. However, our whole high school and university curriculums would look quite different without it. Calculus is also known as the backbone of calculating equations where the variables change with time. And it is also an important part in engineering. So we would have many fewer buildings, and the buildings that we did have would be more difficult for us to build. So it is safe to say that without Sir Isaac Newton, our world would be completely different and almost unrecognizable. So it is important that we should care and even give thanks, because I don't know about you, but I love my phone.